Coming up on Mountain News this morning, members of the National Guard give hospitals across the Commonwealth some extra help, and a new bill introduced in the state capitol has Kentucky emergency responders in an uproar.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. It's Monday and it's almost 6 o'clock here. I'm Dakota Makris. Thanks so much for joining us, and I hope you have some coffee because I really could use some. And let's take it over to Brandon for a look at our forecast. Brandon, I know you and I both could use some coffee this morning, but thankfully this morning everything's calm and clear right now.
Yeah, everything's pretty good for today, so no major issues expected. A little cold this morning, but it is the last week of January, so that's about to be expected. So let's take a look, see where we're heading later today. First, we start with where we are right now, US 119, US 23 at Jenkins. I think they've put some new lights in up there going up toward the border there with Kentucky and Virginia. It looks a little brighter this morning, but that's some good news out there for drivers moving along pretty easily this morning. Temperatures there in the teens up to the north there from Irvin over toward Ashland. You see 17, 18, and 19 there. Irvin, Moorhead, and Ashland. Everybody else, actually, nope, almost told you a fib. 18 also now in Monticello. Everybody else now in the 20s. 45 is the forecast high of the day. Average high is 44. Record high 62. Set back on this day in 2002. Dakota?
All right, Brandon, thank you. Perry County School Superintendent Jonathan Jett announced his school district will use NTI days this week as COVID-19 cases climb across the county. Now, Jett said in a Facebook post that many employees were positive and must quarantine for at least 5 days. The district plans to use the NTI days from January 24th to the 28th. The school district will also be delivering meals to students on Tuesday, the 25th. We have more information on how to get meals delivered to your student on our website at WYMT.com. Harlan County High School will also be using NTI days today. Now, Harlan County public school leaders say that all other schools in the county will be open as normal. HCHS reportedly had several teachers stuck in a quarantine window until Tuesday and not enough substitutes to cover their classes. Substitutes who were asked to work at the high school are now going to be covering classes at elementary schools. Well, Governor Andy Beshear says more than 440 National Guardsmen are helping out across Kentucky hospitals. Both Governor Beshear and Dr. Stephen Stack, Commissioner of the Kentucky Department for Public Health, hope that the Commonwealth will soon turn the corner on the Omicron surge. The governor employed Kentuckians to order their at-home tests, which are available now through the federal government at covidtests.gov.
Best step, getting vaccinated and boosted, wearing a well-fitted mask when gathering indoors, and continuing to wash your hands often and practice social distancing.
Now, the governor noting that almost all COVID deaths under the age of 60 are among unvaccinated people. Well, a bill introduced in the Kentucky State Legislature has EMS workers in an uproar. House Bill 296 calls for significant changes. The first, establishing a 60-minute maximum response time for hospital patient transfers. Proponents of the bill say the time requirement would be a welcome change, saying an average wait time for patient transport is 7 to 8 hours. But the Boyd County EMS Executive Director says most of those transfers are non-emergent, and this would take crews away from responding to 911 calls.
Then there's going to be a shortage of ambulances available for that person out there in the public who needs something immediately, because that may very well be life-threatening. And they're not getting any care until the ambulance gets there.
Well, the bill is also calling for regulation to be returned from the Kentucky Board of Emergency Medical Services to the Cabinet for Health and Family Services, where it was until 2006. The bill was introduced on the 13th and is still in committee. Advocates hope another new bill will encourage more Kentuckians to be organ and bone marrow donors. House Bill 47 would give employers a tax credit for offering paid leave to donors. Shelby Lofton has more on the ripple effect advocates hope to start.
A bipartisan bill written with the hope to save lives.
There are over 1,000 people right now in Kentucky waiting on an organ. every single day.
Last year, Beth Burbridge shared her organ donation story with us.
Going through Facebook and ran across a neighbor's post. Their son was dying of a rare kidney disease, and because of the genetic component of the disease, they weren't able to help him.
She decided to go through testing and discovered she was a match.
And in one short morning, I was able to completely change the life of their family. Unfortunately, I had to return to work after 6 days.
Burbridge says the recommended recovery time is 4 to 6 weeks. Her short time off is the reason she's advocating for House Bill 47.
I can see a lot of smaller companies potentially thinking this is something we'd absolutely love to offer, but how can we afford it? This tax credit reimburses the cost of the employee's salary, as well as any replacement that they would need to hire for the employee for a portion of the time that they're out.
Burbridge says if employees have time to fully recover, they'll return to work refreshed and more productive. She says it's an incentive to save lives.
My recipient was able to go back to work. He's working full time, was able to take a promotion actually in another state, and is doing incredibly well.
Shelby Lofton, WKYT.
The bill has been introduced in the House but has not been assigned to a committee. A group of advocates is hosting an open online forum on Tuesday. Another redistricting bill has become law. Senate Bill 2 deals with boundaries for state Senate districts. Governor Andy Beshear did not sign or veto it. The measure became law at midnight without his signature. Last week, the governor did veto 2 redrawing state house districts and U.S. congressional districts. The legislature voted to override both vetoes. The Kentucky Democratic Party filed a lawsuit to keep them from going into effect. No hearing has been set. Well, Kentucky once again ranks among the worst states for people quitting their jobs. This as the labor shortage continues to plague employers. The federal government says 79,000 Kentuckians quit their jobs in November. The resignations translated into a 4.2 quit rate, the rate of people who voluntarily left their jobs, except for retirees or those transferred by their employer. The Bluegrass State tied with 2 other states to rank second for the largest quit rate increase. Only New Hampshire was higher. Well, winter storms continue to slam the Commonwealth, and potholes are causing problems all across Kentucky. Road crews across Kentucky have been busy with winter weather. Unfortunately, that process can create potholes, and Kentuckians are seeing an increase. The ground condenses and contracts with temperature fluxes, which aid the formation of potholes.
Well, potholes form by water seeping into cracks in the asphalt. And of course, with salting, plowing, the sheer volume of traffic, these small cracks then become large holes.
Officials say the heavy rains we've been getting can make potholes worse. They say the Kentucky Division of Transportation is fixing potholes year-round, but the best way to get one fixed is to call it in. Road crews need the help from the public to help fix them. Well, some plumbing companies say they're short on technicians and struggling to keep up with calls that are coming in. This time of year, often issues caused by the weather. Joe Barker, a plumber in Lexington, recommends if you have a crawl space, making sure it is sealed so no cold air can get in, and keeping your faucets dripping on very cold nights can also help.
What that does is it keeps the water circulating through the pipe. Moving water, it takes a lot longer to freeze than water setting still.
There are insulated blankets that you can buy to cover your water heater as well. Barker says you'll know if you have frozen pipes when you try a faucet and nothing comes out. It is possible to thaw the lines on your own, but he says it's best to call a professional who can handle the situation safely. Well, it's tax filing season, and you can start filing your taxes today. The state will begin processing tax returns on February 7th. Electronic returns will take about 2 to 3 weeks to process, with refunds issued shortly after. The state says due to COVID, they'll have limited staff, but will work hard to process returns quickly. You can check the status of your return on the state's website. This year, parents are advised to keep a special eye out for an IRS mailing known as Letter 6419. This letter pertains to 2021's Advanced Child Tax Credit, which was paid out from July through December. Families received up to $300 for each kid. Letter 6419 will help parents accurately report the amount of money they received up front in 2021. If parents did not receive 1 or more child tax credit payments, they are encouraged to call the IRS at 800-908-4184.
6:08 here on this, almost said Tuesday morning, Monday morning. Please, coffee, please. Somebody send some. Anyway, let's get into the forecast this morning. It's cold out there. That's part of the brain freeze I'm having this morning. 19 Ashland, 18 Moorhead, 17 in Irvin. That's our cold spots. Also 18 in Monticello. Everybody else in the mid to upper 20s across the area this morning. Still a little bit warmer than yesterday than in some areas there. Wise, 7 degrees warmer, 8 degrees warmer in Harlan this morning, 5 degrees warmer in Williamsburg and Middlesboro, and several degrees colder in some spots. A bit breezy ahead of our cold front today. Sun and clouds, though, as we top out right around 45. But as we look ahead, we are watching a nice start to the week. A cold front will move through overnight, and we're watching a snow system that could impact us by the end of this week. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you so much. Well, coming up here on Mountain News this morning, the world of sports continues to have troubles as the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic continues. That's next.